Good evening. I'm John Voida, a volunteer with AARP New Jersey. Thank you for joining us for our very first Melodies of the Garden State Facebook Live. This will be a four-part series where once per week we discuss the link between music and brain health and explore the unique history of music right here in the Garden State. According to a new report from the AARP-founded Global Council on Brain Health, music can enhance a sense of well being, reduce stress, facilitate interpersonal connections, modulate the cardiovascular system, improve balance, and boost the immune system. Do you ever feel better after listening to music? That's because music boosts your mood and inspires movement. Adults who engage in music making and listening are more likely to self report their overall health, brain health, and cognitive function as excellent or very good, according to the report. One tip I learned from the report is to listen to new music. While listening to the music you know and like tends to cause the strongest brain response and dopamine release, unfamiliar melodies may stimulate your brain while providing a new source of pleasure as you get used to hearing them. For more information and to read the full report, visit aarp.org/brainhealth. Again, that's aarp.org/brainhealth. Now for a little more on our Melodies of the Garden State Facebook Live series. Each week, we will be joined by Professor Dewar MacLeod. Professor MacLeod earned his BA from Eugene Lang College at the New School and his PhD from the City University of New York Graduate Center. Currently, he teaches at William Paterson University with a focus on history of popular culture, rock and roll, childhood, suburbia, and U.S. foreign policy. He's the author of a new book called Making the Scene in a Garden State, Popular Music in New Jersey from Edison to Springsteen and Beyond. Each week, Professor MacLeod will share engaging and educational information about a certain genre of music. Then we will have a New Jersey-based musician play live and original music for us. We also want to make this interactive for our viewers. If you have a question or comment for our guests, please type them into the comment section below. We want to hear from you. And of course, we can't have a virtual music performance without a drink. Each week, we will be featuring a New Jersey-inspired cocktail recipe, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, your choice, completely optional. For our first virtual cocktail hour, we are having a Jack Rose. It was created by a New Jersey bartender, Frank J. May, in the early 20th century. For the ingredients, you will need 1 cup of ice, 2 fluid ounces of applejack or apple brandy, 1 fluid ounce of lemon juice, and 1/2 fluid ounce of grenadine. Pour the ice into the cocktail shaker. Add the applejack, lemon juice, and grenadine. Shake well and then strain into a cocktail glass. And you are done. It's that easy. For our next Melodies of Garden State segment, we will be looking for New Jersey-inspired cocktail recipes. And we want to hear from you. Do you have a favorite New Jersey drink? If so, please share the recipe in the comment section. It could be featured on our next Facebook Live on Monday, September 21 at 5:30 p.m. Now we are all have our drinks in hand. Let's go to Professor MacLeod, who will be focusing tonight's segment on New Jersey's role in the creation of technology that launched the dawn of recorded sound and music. Professor MacLeod, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's a pleasure to have you on, and we are looking forward to your presentation.
Thanks, John. Great to be here. Really fascinating to hear about the brain health, the connection to music. And my interest in music is really about how people form community and identity through their engagement with music. So the very personal way that people interact with music. And I'm going to sort of share with you folks. Hold on a second. Sorry, all of a sudden I'm losing that. That doesn't look right. Hold on. Share with you. There we go. Just not sure if this is not working. Sorry, folks. I might have to just talk. Sorry about that. So my interest is with I'm sorry. Here we go. My fault. Restarting very quickly. I have this new book about popular music in New Jersey, and my interest in here is in how people come together in making music. And now New Jersey, I believe, deserves its place in the history of music and its due place. And obviously, the sort of most famous ones, and that it's not just a suburb of New York or a route between along I-95. But it's a place where sort of interesting and unique ways of gathering to make and enjoy music have occurred. And my first chapter is about sort of the beginnings of recorded music. Most of you know the history of Thomas Edison and the invention of the phonograph and the recording of sound onto wax cylinders. And these graphics show you that this is where he got the name The Wizard of Menlo Park. People were astounded by that sound could be played back. But my interest is in more than the technology or more than just the history of Edison, is in terms of the sort of social experience. What was it like to come together to make music in this place? And what Edison's laboratory in West Orange was really the first place that people came together in a room and started to record. And the process was fascinating to me. And you can see here the pictures of the pianos with the cone coming out of the phonograph. The cone was where the music came out, but it was also where the music went in. It was also the microphone, if you will. It was non-electrified. And so I examined the process of people coming together, what it was like. And you can see in these photographs, they all had to cram in together around one cone to project their sound onto the wax. And initially during the recording process, they actually even had to do, each recording was individual. Soon they developed techniques for duplicating a few at a time, or they could record a few at a time. But it was hot, it was painstaking, it was uncomfortable. And they had to figure out exactly where each instrument could be. And as you can imagine, Edison was great, not only in the technology of recording, but in terms of thinking about recording, in terms of the science of acoustics and the science of sound. So here, he's arranging musicians according to how they will best come together to etch their sound onto the wax. And this was covered extensively in the scientific literature of the period. And again, we can see the piano there projecting sound through this long cone. And Edison himself was so fascinated, and he actually had some very kooky ideas that other scientists didn't accept about how sound traveled, but he made a 125-foot recording horn so that the person playing the instrument would be in one building and the cylinder would be in the other building. And he believed that the way sound traveled down that horn, that the best sound would come out, and it didn't work that way. But you can see also the multiple cones for recording that they devised. They just put a whole bunch of machines up next to each other. And I love the idea that if you bought a cylinder in a store at the time, you were actually getting a unique work of recording. So to record, they'd have to do it over and over, sometimes hundreds of times a day. Here you see pictures of Edison himself listening, and he was famously quite stubborn and determined to do things his way, and it brought him a lot of success. It was a mixed bag in terms of music for Edison because I don't know if you folks know this, but he was actually deaf. And so here he is cupping his ear. He would at times even sort of bite onto the wood of either the phonograph or a piano so he could feel the vibrations. And he had this incredible ability to hear the vibrations and to be able to tell when people were out of key. But he didn't have great musical sensibility, and all of his engineers and the musicians complained that he actually had really bad musical taste. And so he would release his records and cylinders and then discs. But the business didn't actually survive for all that long, because while they produced some of the best quality work, they weren't necessarily the best recording artists. And Edison didn't believe that the name of the recording artist was that important. What was important is that it was an Edison product. So I'm down on the other end of New Jersey, down in Camden. We get the Victor Talking Machine Company. And some of you may be familiar with this picture of Nipper here, this painting of Nipper looking into and listening to his master's voice. And we have the first flat discs being made, recorded onto flat discs out of Victor in Camden. And similarly, you have the technology from Emil Berliner's gramophone of the horn gathering the sound, but it goes onto a flat disc that rotates. And you get in Victor in Camden this extraordinary industrial complex where many products are being made, but also where recording is occurring. And musical artists from all over the world come to record in Camden. Most famously, Caruso, who had a voice that was just, meant for the recording technology at the time. It was just rich. Everybody described it as golden. And so he was the first big star of Victor, and I love also that Victor had this line of artists and discs called the Red Seal, where they were selling opera to the masses and educating the masses in the sort of high culture by releasing all the great opera artists and advertising them throughout, but also selling a wide variety of popular artists. So they also create the Victrola, which is the first attempt to really bring the recording machine into the household, into the living room. And I talk about music scenes, and I call this the scene at home. Like all of these opera artists, all of these artists come right into your home, and you can enjoy music with them. And you see they have these beautiful cabinets. Instead of this weird machine sitting over in the corner, you can have your beautiful parlor with this luxurious Victrola there. So the rising middle class were able to buy these machines and enjoy the best of music that was out there, including Stokowski and the Philadelphia Philharmonic, and recording studio both in the the Camden factories, but also in a church studio. The Camden factories, they used to actually have to stop recording when the shifts changed because of the factory whistles blowing. And again, you see in here just the cramped conditions, and there was so much interest in the literature and magazines from Scientific American and the popular magazines about how this is done, how these people do this. And there's some great stories, and I talk about in my book of just the difficult conditions that these artists worked under. And then we see, that the scene comes home. I mean, the other brilliant thing about this is that recording technology is not just for you to buy cylinders, but you can make your own. So this is a real sort of two-way multimedia tool, and that people are making their own discs, making their own recordings, saving them, sharing them, being able to ship them to families. And so in terms of popular culture, people are being able to participate in a very personal way with other consumers, with the artists, and to build sort of relationships with the artists and develop fan tastes. So, in these chapters, I talk a lot about, again, how the artist built a community around the experience of recording. And that's something that musical artists now do, right? That although not so much these days, obviously, not only because of the pandemic, because of the state of recording right now is that you don't always go into studios in the way you used to, because recording technology is so advanced now that people can do this on their own and do this at home as well, and share files over email and such. And then the other example, as I say, is this whole idea of really bringing, could you imagine before this time, the only way to get popular music from great artists was to go see them if you were lucky as they came through, or you'd make the music yourself at home. And I love how Victor is really appealing, especially these Christmas ads, to the sensibility of joining with this larger phenomenon of a global community of artists and music fans. And so I'll be back next week. I'll be talking about jazz. I'll be talking about Bruce Springsteen and the Asbury Park scene. And I'll be talking about the Hoboken scene at Maxwell's in the 1980s. And I think that's my time. And I will be back and see you next week. Thank you. And thank you apologize for the technological problems.
Thank you, Professor MacLeod. That was a fun and informative presentation. And I see that we got our first suggestion for a drink. Andrea Orlando suggested an Iron Bite cider for our next big drive. Andrea, please make sure you send us the recipe so that we can sign it for you on the next broadcast. I want to remind our viewers, if you have a question or comment, please type it into the comment section below, and we'll do our best to answer it tonight live. Now we are going to turn to our musical guest this evening, Rhonda Denét. Rhonda is a New Jersey-based vocalist, songwriter, and bandleader known for her smooth, soulful, and jazzy music that reflects on life, love, and gratitude. She earned a Bachelor of Music degree from NYU and an MA in Arts Administration from FSU. She's a full-time musician performing throughout the New York metropolitan region and across the country with her band, the Bad Cats, as a lead vocalist. She invites her audience to surrender to the groove by blending classic and contemporary favorites within her inspiring original music. Now sit back, relax, enjoy the cocktail or your favorite drink, and let's listen to Rhonda's music.
Hi, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here, and especially to be the first artist on this series. So I'm going to start with my song LOVE, and it was written from a poem that I wrote when I was in love. That relationship didn't work out. A new one is present and wonderful, but I can't sing this song to him because it was written about somebody else. But anyway, he's my husband. He plays on the track. He's not worried about it. So here we go. LOVE, LOVE, that's love. LOVE, LOVE, that's love. LOVE, LOVE, that's love. Thinking about how we are two in love, so much in love together, so comfortable, so real, so rare. Quiet times in your arms, afternoons, they just fly by, so wonderful, so incredible, with such a pair. Love is so amazing, never evading, like 4 years stargazing. We enjoy the view, just us two. LOVE, LOVE, that's love. LOVE, LOVE, that's love. LOVE, makes life complete, so eternal, so natural, just like a prayer. And every time you see me smile, it brings you joy, makes life worthwhile, so perpetual, so remarkable, beyond compare. You know your love is so amazing. It's never abating, no. Like voyeurs stargazing, we enjoy the view, just us two. L-O-V-E, L-O-V-E, that's love. L-O-V-E, L-O-V-E, that's love. L-O-V-E, L-O-V-E, that's love. You know we got love for the rest of my life. We got love. Gonna fly, fly, fly away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got love, you and me. We've got love. We've got love, you and me. L-O-V-E. All right, this next song is called Perfectly Human, and it's the title track from the album of the songs that I'm singing. L-O-V-E is on there, and the song that I'll do to close as well. Basically, this song is, I write a lot of mantra songs to keep my head in the game. This song is just, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, no matter what mistakes you think you've made, you're perfectly human, just as you are. Inchworm, measuring the marigold. Won't you just stop and see? You're gonna go far. Inchworm, measuring the marigold. Won't you just stop and see? You're gonna grow far. Here's why. You're perfectly human, perfectly human. You're one of a kind, perfectly human. I know that you're mine, perfectly human. Your star always shines, perfectly. You're perfectly human. Constantly question, trying so hard, putting up borders. You better tear down the garage. You're wonderful, just as you are, simply marvelous. Don't work so hard. Here's why. You're perfectly human, yeah, you're a star. You're perfectly human, you know that you are. perfectly human. Constantly question, toil too much. Don't you wonder, or you might lose touch? You're wonderful, just as you are. Purely fabulous. Don't work so hard, no. You're perfectly human. You're a star. You're perfectly human. In your heart, you know that you are. Perfectly human. Keep going, you're gonna go far. You're perfectly human. It's alright, don't have to fight. You better let your light shine. It's alright, you don't have to fight. You better let your light shine. You're perfectly human. Ooh, ooh, yeah. All right. So I'm going to conclude with this song. I went to school for music performance. I got a degree in vocal performance and with a minor in musical theater. And got a little scared getting out of school. So I decided to go and get an arts administration degree, to get a business degree. And the fun thing is that I'm actually using both of my degrees, which I hear is rare, especially in the arts. So I started to write original music with a band in 2005. And I wrote this song because through all of that, I decided to leave my full-time job in the arts behind music at Blue Man Group and pursue music full-time. Pursue music full-time. So this song is one that really, really, really has, over the years, kept my head in the game when I'm down and out. And I say to myself, this is my world, it's my dream, and it's my song. So I'm taking the steps every day to do everything that I need to do all to be me and to bring joy to the world through music. So I'm going to close with my world, my dream, my song. Yeah. My world, my dream, my song. I took that first step, now I'm strong. Gonna do all it takes to be me. I believe, and so it shall be. Sitting, dreaming, think I'm waiting for life to begin, hoping, wishing, think I'm searching for an end. Oh, way too long I've been looking for greener grass. Oh, way too long trying to kiss destiny. Yeah, I'm gonna take control of my future and leave this crazy past behind. My world, my dream, my song. Taking the first step to living out my dreams. I took that first step, now I'm strong. Walking on my terms, joy bursting at the seams. Gonna do to be me. I just wanna be me. I believe, and so it shall be. I'm planning, no, I'm working, yeah, I'm doing all I can, moving, shaking, no, I'm fighting to take a stand. Oh, way too long I spent down in my self-worth. Oh, way too long walking blind around this earth. I took control of my future and left that crazy past behind. This is my world, my dream, my song. I took that first step. Now I'm strong. I'm gonna do all it takes to be me. I believe, and so it shall be. So it shall be. So it shall be. So it shall be. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your drinks. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Rhonda. What a wonderful performance. And a special thank you to all our viewers for joining our first Melodies of the Garden State Facebook Live. And I think we just set a new record because we had someone watching from Wales in the UK. A big shout out for Katin Bourne, and my apology if I pronounce that wrong. Also a shout out and thank you for Michelle Murphy for her kind comment. Please join us again next week, Monday, September 21st at 5:30 p.m. on Facebook for more information on the connection between brain health and music, followed by another live performance. For more information on the power of music and brain, please visit aarp.org/brainhealth. Again, that's aarp.org/brainhealth. There you can also download and read the full report from the AARP-founded Global Council on Brain Health. And don't forget, if you have a favorite New Jersey-inspired cocktail recipe, please leave it in the comment section for us. It could be featured next week. Thank you again, and good night.